toys for factory, financial study. Financial study, it is one of the steps in the feasibility study that we're going to start by. So we have here a new case for toys factory, and we're going to start the estimations of the demand forecasting. And then we start by the given data according to the market research, which is the total population 10 million per person in this place, and the average growth rate is 2%. So here it is just 2% growth rate. Experts are given here 0 experts. We're not exporting, we're just importing 500,000. And it's around 10% of this population is given to be taking this product. And then the total production available in this market, it is 2.5 million. And the product mix, according to the primary research, it is 20% for girls, 20% for boys, 60% for kids. So here we are going to start by using the ACP, average consumption per capita. And to start the average consumption per capita, we're going to start by the production. And here the production, it is 2.5 million, and I'm going to add over 500,000 in exports. Then this will give me the amount of the production, which is 3 million. Then the target population, what is the target population? So I will have 10% of this 10 million. So I will write the 10 million times 10%, and this will give us the 1 million. The growth rate of population, it is going to be using the future value, which is the 1 million times 1.02, which is the growth rate of the population. Then it's a bit 1,020,000. So now we can find the ACP, the current ACP. So the supply is 3 million and the target population 1 million. So the ACP is 3. The new ACP is not going to be the same. Then left for me how we can find the new supply. So the new supply will be equal the new ACP times what we have, the new targeted population. So just multiplication of the 3. So this is the new ACP times the 1.02 million, then it will be 3,060,000. Then we estimate the supply that we're going to provide it according to the demand for estimations, and then we're going to compare it with the capacity. So here, the second step, when we are going to construct the total demand, it is important to compare between the total demand and your capacity. If your capacity here is 4 million and your demand in the market is 3 million, so you're going to work with the demand, which is the lowest value. If vice versa, if the demand is 3 million and your capacity is 2 million, then you're going to work with your capacity, which is the maximum that you are going to provide for the market. Then what is your plan? My plan is going to apply the 3,660,000. Then question 2, is it risky or not? So it depends, is it blue ocean or red ocean? Blue ocean means clear of competition, few competitors. Red ocean, severe competition, many competitors in the market. So here, if it is a red ocean, then the assumption is 60, 80, 100. And if it is blue ocean, it is 25%, 50%, and 100. So it's very simple that we're going to use the 3 millions and divide it by to the 20% of girls, 20% of boys, 60% of kids. And the same here, if I want to find the demand for the worst case scenario, which is the 3,060,000 times what we have it here, 60%, and then the 3 million times the 80%, then we have the whole demand for customer. The second step is to find the total investment, fixed assets, plus pre-opening, plus working capital. And this will allow me to know how I'm going to finance this portion. So the fixed asset, as you see here, it includes land, building, factory, toys, office, equipment, machines, and all these estimates have been given here for this data. But pay attention here, the rent is not included because the rent, it is overhead expenses, and then we are going to postpone it later in the overhead expenses. So we add them all, and they are all in the same currency. They are all on euro, so they are the same currency. There is no need to transfer anything because they are going to be estimated by this currency, 10 million. Next step is the pre-opening expenses, which is include all what I'm in need before starting the business, from know-how, expertise and technology, training, other pre-expenses, license, risk factors, all these taken into consideration. So I break down all these items that I'm going to need it before I start my business. So it is 5% of the fixed assets, which 5% of the total fixed asset, which was 10 million, then it is 500,000. Then we find the pre-opening expenses, and then we go for the third step. The third after that, which is we need to find the depreciation, and here the depreciation we have different values, but pay attention that at the first item that are voted for the land, it is not including any depreciation because land is not going to be depreciated. Others are 10% for building, 15% for factory, 15% for the machines, and all are these are the other expenses for depreciation, which is the consumption of these assets. Then it is important to take into consideration if you are having amortization, which is the depreciation of the intangible assets. And here we have a branded product, so I'm going to depreciate it with the total value of the pre-opening, which is assumed to be here 10% of amortization. Then we find the depreciation amortization, and amortization, it is when the product is branded, so I'm looking for if it is branded or not. So let's go for the last step in the total investment working capital. And you know here that you have to read well if the project is cash based or not a cash base, and what are the assumptions. So if it is a cash base, so it's very interesting that you are not going to have any of all the account receivable, account pay. But if you are having a product that is needed to be as an inventory or finished or all these things, so you need to look for it. So here I have no cash base. So on the following assumption, 1 month supply of raw material to be kept on inventory and 1 month supply of final product based on the cost. So I need to find the cost of goods sold, which is the raw material and direct labor, in order to prepare the working capital. So the second steps here is to prepare the raw material table. So here, if you see that the data here is given that we need to look for the cost, and it is on oil as well. So the cost per unit, 3 times the numbers of units as you prepared in the demand forecasting, which was the first step. Then the multiplication of these 3 times that amount, quantity times cost, then it's give me the raw material. We add all of them, then we find the total cost, and it is basically 4,896,000 in the best case scenario. Sales, it will be the same, but we will do the direct labor first. So here I have only 10 workers in production and 2 cleaning, and each one will take 1,000 wages and 500. So here, to find the direct labor, so I'm going to do the 10 times the 1,000 times the 12, then it is going to have the total production, which is here the 120, and it is a constant values. The same, the 2 labor times the wages times the 12, then it will giving me the total amount of cleaning staff, which is the 12,000. So it's very easy and very simple. We need to look for the social security. Social security is 26%. So I'm going to take this value and then I multiply times 26% as a social security. And this will give me the amount of 34,000 as you see it here. So the summation of both of them, it will give me the total direct labor. So I have the direct labor and I have the raw material. Then we are going to find what we have it here, which is the sales and the COGS first, the raw material plus the labor, I add them. So the raw material will be different. The labor is constant in value. So you have to check that the values are increasing. And this is the 5 million. So this is the best case scenario. Sales, it is easy. So I would multiply the price times the units, and this is giving the total of the sales. Then we follow for the overhead expenses. And the overhead expenses, we have to focus on the amounts of values here, because you will see here that the indirect salaries here is 50,000. So to find this 50,000, so this 50,000 times what we have here, 1.26, then it will give me the 63,000 values of the indirect salaries. Maintenance 3% of the 10 million, so it is 300,000. Cost of utilities and administration percent, 5% of the gross of sales. This would be the percentage of the gross sales revenue. So I will take the 5% times the sales. Cost of utilities 10,000. This is the utilities, but here the utilities is different. If it is rated capacity, so 60% from the 10,000, 8,000. So 60% of the 10,000, 8,000, and 80% of the 10,000, 8,000. So I need to focus on something important, that you have to be alert that we have something is constant, which is the indirect salaries. and the maintenance. And here the rent and the insurance, we mentioned that we're going to have it in the beginning, and the contingency and the depreciation. What are the changing? So you will find that the utilities and administrative expenses will be changing if you are having three scenarios. But if it is the best case scenario, then it is will be the 3 millions of thousand. After that, it is lost. It is finished. That we did all the calculation that we're going to look for. Don't forget that you are putting here the depreciation amortization, both of them, not only one of them. So I can prepare my inventory of raw material, inventory of finished goods. So you see here account receivable and account payable is not included. And 2 months or 1 month's supply of raw material. I will take the raw material divided the coefficient and the 1 month supply divided by the coefficient. So it is 12 here and here it is 6. Then we find the working capital. We prepare the fixed asset, we prepare the pre-opening, the working capital that we have just found it in the full capacity. So this is the total investment cost, so that we have 12 million total investment. How am I going to finance it? So you have here that you're going to finance it by equity and loan, 5 million for loan and 7 million for equity. And you will see here a very important point you need to focus on it, which is the given interest is 20%. So it will help me to find the interest. So 20% of the total of the 5 million, then it will give me the 1 million of interest. And the market rate, it is important to look for this market rate because it is completely different than the interest rate of the loan, because you're going to compare it by the payback period, the net profit margin, if it is accepted, and here how you can make comment on the project. So let's go for the second step, the next step, sorry. So we're going to do finally, it is the pro forma income statement. You're going to subtract all the expenses from COGS, overhead, interest, we just mentioned it will be the percentage that we use it here, the 20% times the 5 million, and it is 1 million constant. And you have here a very interesting pro forma income statement, all are positive. So we need to find what we call it, pro forma income statement, profitability ratio. So I will do the gross profit over sales, EBIT over sales, net income over sales. And here comes the point that I have just emphasized on, that you are going to compare between what? Between the market rate. So here the net profit margin, it is equal 55%. And the market rate here equal 13%. So you accept the project or not. So sure, the project give me higher rate than the market, then I accept the project because it is very important to comment on it. And it is highly accepted because it is higher than the market rate. So I will do more activity than putting my money in the bank, for example. So let's proceed for the second one, which is the pro forma balance sheet. I put the cash, account receivable, nothing here, inventory, material, finished goods. I bring them from the working capital, fixed assets 10 million, depreciation, amortization, I subtract them. And I have here the net fixed assets. So I subtract this one and I add all these values. So I have the current assets 1 million. And the net fixed assets 8 billion. So the total here it is 10,653,260, and the loans is 5 million, equity is 7 million, and the total capital here and liability is higher than the asset. So this will give me that the assets is less than the liability. So we have here what we call it excess of cash. So very nice and very simple that you got it, the calculations, and then we can say that you master all the steps, but we need to find what is the ratio that you can make more comments on your case. So the assets here is the 10 million, the equity here is the 7 million. So what I'm going to do, I'm trying to find the return on assets and return on equity. So the net income 18 divided the total assets given 174, which means that the income generated cover the assets more than its value and more by 74%. And as well here, the equity, here it is 2 times and half. So it is highly rewarding. And if we go for the payback period, how long I'm going to take to cover my initial investment. So the total investment here that you remember 12 million and the net income is 18 million. So we will take less than a year to accept the project. So how you can comment or either to accept or not by the payback period and the return on assets and return on equity. And the most important one, which is the comparing it with the market rate. Thank you and best of success.